All right, so we're coming up to this full moon. All right. Hey, Pisces, how are you doing? This is a little quickie mini tarot for this full moon coming up. It's kind of important because it's the end of this last couple of years eclipse cycle with heavy emphasis on Pisces and Virgo. So that's kind of why we're doing this last minute emergency thing. I'm going to do what we kind of do on the live shows. I'm just going to do 3-card quickie with a little bit of background weather for you. And then if you want to get into it, obviously, doing, 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 go to the site and get yourself a private, you know, go private. We can get into it properly that way. A lot of people are having serious issues with relationships right now. And especially with this week, it was incredibly tough with these two big T-squares. In fact, last night it was a massive grand square, grand cross, whatever you want to call it. And man, a lot of people were kind of freaking out in their own way. But anyway, Pisces, this is for you. Just a little quickie, all right? So what's your situation, all right? Here's a little bit of a challenge. What's the challenge there? And what's a way out? How are we going to deal with this, all right? And what's the prevailing weather, okay? This is stuff that, can't really do too much about it. It's just there in the background, so best to just roll with it or understand it and then, work with it. It's like swimming in the ocean or something, you don't want to go against these currents because you'll just drown, all right? So in the background, whoa. Okay, I would say that's pretty appropriate here. This is completion. This is the end of the end. It's like reading and coming to the end of a big epic journey, Pisces. I know a bunch of Pisces people personally. I love you, Pisces. You're so soft and beautiful, but you can also be very tough when you have to be, okay? Now, this weather indicates to me that some huge epic chapter in your life is essentially over. I don't want to say it that it's good or bad, but it's over, okay? You've done a fantastic job just to get here, okay, and get this far. But guess what? It's going to start all over again. So don't worry too much, okay? This is pretty epic stuff, okay? This is very kind of like, it might feel like fate or destiny. Okay, anyway. So what is the situation going a little deeper here? The Knight of Swords, okay. Whew, there might be some truths that are being revealed, let's just say, uh, in ways that may not be that comfortable or appropriate. And either, I don't want to personalize this too much, even though it is a person here. If this is you and your behavior, that's one thing. But I have a feeling this is like the situation the actual situation in which you are swimming right now, where there's a lot of almost like shocking truths that are coming to your awareness that may have been like hidden or very deeply hidden for a long, long time. And it's about time they were revealed. And they might be happening in very kind of like swift ways that are like a little bit disruptive. Okay, this could be very disruptive energy for some Pisces people, where either on a very outward level of their life or even at a very subliminal level, there's some serious reality checks coming that are happening here. All right, that's just my take on it. All right, maybe even somebody is delivering messages to you that might be a little um a little daunting. Okay, so what's the challenge with all of that? Oh gosh, we got more swords. Okay, so the challenge here is that there may be whole sections or chapters. Remember this? Like this big epic epic card here. This is almost like a huge feature film, and which has been going on for many years. And this is over, okay? And maybe there's some serious reality checks going on here. And the challenge is accepting and understanding these messages about reality checks for you Pisces people, okay? And it can be really tough for Pisces because a lot of Pisces are really, really super sensitive, and anything that could be disruptive could feel very disruptive in a way that might not feel so disruptive for other signs. So the challenge might be in that when some of these messages are being delivered with the Page of Swords actually kind of enjoys knocking things around. It's almost like in their youthful, almost innocent, naive enthusiasm, they actually enjoy pointing out anything that's fake or untrue or false or just inappropriate, popping the bubbles that you might have been having in the fantasy, not fantasy, but in your perceived reality. So the challenge here might be like when you look in the mirror and deep down you know there are some serious reality checks happening. The challenge is actually like listening to them very, very carefully, listening to the truths as they unfold. The thing is, the challenge is that some of it you don't want to hear. Some of it you don't want to know. And I feel for you, Pisces. I really, really do. So it's like, I kind of wish this card wasn't here, but it is here. So, and Pisces can be the most tender of all signs. And so just the slightest like ripple in the world of spirit and thought and mind could be very disruptive. And it's almost like you're covering your eyes to the truth. You're covering your ears. You're closing off your mind because you don't want to deal with some of this stuff. But the reality is, with this full moon and the end of these eclipse cycles, you have to deal with it because it's closure time. It's time for closure because this is over. It's done, and you're going to start your whole freaking life again, all right? Some complete major new reboot, like new information, new spiritual downloads, new attitudes, new thoughts. Okay, that's what's happening. So how do you deal with that? Okay, well actually I'm glad we got this. This is the High Priestess, okay? And the way to deal with some of these really like harsh truths about what's actually happening in your life, stuff that you might not even want to talk about with anybody, not even yourself. The way to deal with it is in a very Piscean manner. This hopefully would come very naturally to you, is where you make the decision with a clear mind that since we're essentially having a whole reboot, the chance to start life all over again, before you get too much, before you jump straight into the next, 10 years or 20 years of a huge long feature film, take some time to go very, very, very deep within and kind of go into a very intuitive, spiritual, meditative state and just listen very, very carefully. It would be very appropriate to, like, it's almost like, don't detach yourself from society, but if you could like conduct yourself in a day-to-day manner where you deliberately sort of slightly remove yourself from yourself and rely even more on intuition than ever before, and listen very, very, very carefully to the messages that are coming to you, because up till now they've been hidden and they've been secret, but now it's time for them to be revealed. The veil here needs to be lifted, and the secrets that the High Priestess knows need to come to the surface, okay? Whatever has been hidden and buried and denied, it needs to come to the surface. It needs to come to the surface for cleansing and refining, okay? So that you can move on in comfort. Okay, it's a big deal for you. Okay, Pisces, this whole eclipse thing. You're gonna get kind of a reprieve here. So when it all starts over again, when this starts all over again with the Fool card, for example, hopefully you will have cleaned up as much as humanly possible, so that it's like when you go into a huge double feature and everybody has to clear out the cinema and then they fill it all up again. You don't want to go back into the cinema where the seats are all covered in vomit and crap and popcorn and junk and melted candy and people's lost cell phones, and it's disgusting. You don't do that, okay? Do the big cleanup and tune into your deepest self, Pisces. You're already that way anyway, but you need to go even deeper. So I hope this helps. I hope this helps. I'm not going to say anything more. I've already said enough. Thank you, Pisces. We love you. Take care. All the best.